Good morning. Today is the 5th of March 2024 and I'm going to go through the levels I'm watching for today and my pre-market game plan. So before we start, let's take a look at the news, and we can see today we've got PMI coming in at 10 AM, 3 out of, so that's one of the high important ones for today, and we've got lots of 2 out of 3 news events as well. We've got PMI coming at 9:45, 10, and we've got Fed speaking at 12 and 3:30. Okay, so back to the charts. On my screen is the ES 1 hour time frame, or the MES. This is the S&P 500 index futures. So before we go any further, let's start with the daily. And you can see we're putting in a strong uptrend, very narrow channel. We're kind of trading between this channel and it's getting pretty predictable, and we pull back. Every time we pull back we see a reaction on the channel line, so kind of why I want to watch that area for a particular bounce today, although we haven't quite made it to the top of this channel, which could show some weakness if you were to divide the channel into two, a bit of a wavy line. We really want to see it trending above that area for the breakout or the continuation, or we just want to see it kind of, we don't really want to see it too much in the bottom half of the channel because you could look for weakness. We are due a bit of a pullback, a decent pullback. We are pretty extended on the daily from the 50 moving average. We haven't been down there since November, but we are trailing the 20 moving average, so we kind of expect a bit of a pullback back down to the 50, 80, 50, 70 area. So going back into the hourly, you can see yesterday was a pretty narrow range day. We had a bit of a push up and I did okay on that trade. I kind of caught the bottom and got out near the top, and in fact as it started pulling back is when I got out of my trade, and I'm glad I did because it's only just tanked since then. Although I had a couple of stops as well, so it was a break-even day yesterday, probably slightly red than break-even. In fact I didn't play my levels really. I was trying to play scalps, but it didn't work too well. Trying to scalp that area, I didn't really scalp that. I was long in that area, but I did take profit, and it just didn't work too well. So at one point when we were having this chop in the middle, I was kind of going long, going short, going long, couldn't decide, and then it wasn't until the market pulled right back. I think I went long off the 20 moving average around here, and it actually was yesterday's lows when I went long. In fact it was the second pullback onto there, and then I got out up here, so I kind of made back for the messing around of that candle in that hour. So not a good way. I didn't really want to be trading all the way until 3 PM or whenever it was, 2 PM. But anyway, let's go into the levels for today. Got some decent levels. Full disclosure, I'm currently long at this level, yesterday's level. I took a position size just down right at the break-even point right now. So I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to work out. But I've got my stop at today's pre-market low. So it takes me below that, then I'm out of the trade, which looks like it's getting there. I got in because of order flow as well. We didn't see much. Still looks like it wants to push up, but I'm not sure I can trust that because we're seeing some just slow selling with not much follow through, and potentially yeah, I'm not sure. It's pre-market volume as well, so it's a bit different to normal everyday volume, market volume. So I'll keep an eye on that. So I'm currently long, literally where we are right now. Levels for today, obviously we've got this level which is the pre-market low. That's a high risk bounce coming off of that pivot there, that pivot there. During the market, I think I prefer to get the 5100 area, this number here, which is kind of, let me just turn the volume off, kind of coming off the bottom of this trend line, and that's kind of the area I want to watch. So we kind of reacted quite positively when we got there, kind of acted as resistance in places, and then support. It was the floor, then became the ceiling, then became the floor. So potentially 5100 can be the floor again. And we've got this purple line, which is the 200 hourly moving average, kind of coming up into that area as well. So if I were to put a level on it, probably the trend line, yeah, it's just below 5100. So we can watch maybe for it to come down to get close to this area for a bounce. So that's kind of the area I'm watching. If we do break the 5100, then potentially look for a pullback into this trend line for the short or into the 200. So that's kind of two levels, 5100 key area. Next bounce area is 50, 60, 70. I'm sorry, 50, 67 to 50, 70. Just around here, you can see we had a lot of support down there, and got high volume just around that area as well. So kind of watch for a bounce around this area. And there's one more level I want to watch. I want to watch this bottom of this demand zone as well for a bounce if we do break down. So that will be around 51.10 for a bounce, and that's basically coming off of this head and shoulders pattern, kind of the two shoulders, and kind of that area there as well, because that's why the area is marked as demand zone. So I'm kind of watching all of this area for a bounce. If this low of the day, if I get stopped out there, I'll be looking for a re-entry about there, and then I'll be looking for entry there, and that'll be my levels. Rejection wise, the only place I see is 51.50, that area here, maybe a little bit below 51.46, potentially yesterday's low area. We can watch for a rejection if we pull back up into that area. So kind of this area here for a rejection. And do I like the break and retest a pre-market high? It's not really. It's going into that yesterday's low, and it's might get a bit of room, maybe a bit of a scalp. Keep the stop tight. So pre-market high, break and retest long. More likely we can watch for a rejection in that area, as we're watching for a rejection at yesterday's low. We are, just a quick one, we are currently below the hourly 50. And generally when we're below, I quite like looking for shorts, and when we're above, I prefer looking for longs. So we're quite close to it, so there's no real, I think I prefer a short today going into yesterday's low, that area there. So just mark that up as well. And the number I've got for that is 51.35 approximately to 51.36, that area for a short. That's it really. Try and keep it simple. No, I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try and stick to my levels today. I say try, I should do, because obviously like yesterday when I was just trying to find scalps within the chop, I just got chopped up and it wasn't pretty trading. It took me. So this is a trade I took yesterday. I went long around here. I think it was, might have been on this candle here, 11 o'clock, and finally got out around, I think it's about 1:30, so pretty much near the top. And the bit in between, I didn't manage it very well, and it seems to be what I talk about every day, my management of my trades. I've been tinkering with it. So instead of, I was long there, I think I'll probably long here at some point, but I was long, then I tried taking profit, and then I tried going short, and then I tried going long and short and long, and then in the end I just, as we broke out over this area, that's where I went long, and I stayed long, just didn't touch it. It's funny how if you don't touch the trade, that's what makes all the profit, whereas when you tinker with it and manage it, then they're the ones which just doesn't do much, and they're the ones you get stopped out and scalped. So it's not really great. Okay, looking at SPY next. We'll come back just before I go, see if there's any movement. SPY, pretty much same levels as ES. Kind of like the rejection at 512, well 513, this area here. Got tops of candles, tops of candles, tops of candles, and we poked through and came back down. So that's kind of an area. You can see the volume on this volume profile as well, so which is why I like it. So 513 rejection, and then bounce probably for this area, 508 bounce. I've got a level at 507, so kind of this area for a bounce. That's a higher probability bounce. We're coming into all this volume as well. You can see the point of control on this volume profile. Lots of volume here at 508. And then we've got a target, probably yesterday's low, and we can watch yesterday's low, a bit like ES for a rejection. So that's the pre-market low, yesterday's low here. Again, be a bit wary of the break and retest of pre-market high, but potentially that could be also act as a rejection area, but just watch the market and see what it does around there. Okay, so next is NQ. I can only see one bounce place, and that's off of this point of control, the 200 moving average, and this level, tops of candles, bottoms of candles here, tops of, so area of confidence. So 18,062 down to 18,000 for a bounce, this area. And I quite like the point of control is coming straight through that area as well. Reject, I can't see any more bounces really. The only place I was watching yesterday was that area and kind of come through that and bounce, so that's gone now. And if we get back down to 17,800, bounce off of this area of demand. And that's it. Qs is probably going to be very similar. Oh no, Qs is kind of not quite there yet. I prefer Qs around 438. That's it. Tops and bottoms, you can see that area of confidence there. Tops of all these candles, tops of these candles. So 438 on Qs, that's the only place I can see for a bounce. And rejection can be up here, which is at 446. And if we do get down further, then we've got 433. We can either watch for a bounce in that area, or we can look for a break and retest short. We will be well below the 200 and the 50 by that point. So I'll be watching SPX again. So 5100 is a key area, that pivot. If we can get down to there today, then I'll be looking for a long. Also, it happens to be the 50 moving average, and that area happens to be a couple of days ago. It's a high of the low from Thursday, Friday. I'm not sure what it says yesterday's low. So that this is the area we all kind of. So 5100, looking for a bounce. I think I'm out on my trades, broke the low of the day. Bit annoying, but you know, it is what it is. That's the idea of having a tight stop. What's this, gold? We'll look at gold. Put it on the daily. Coming into a rejection area, this area here. Tops of candles over here, tops of candles here, tops of a few months ago, and we're coming into that area now. So this is a key area. We can watch 2064 for a rejection. We want to see it break above, come back down to continue the trend up. That's what we're looking for. We need to wait for a pullback entry on this. So we get back down to the 50, we can look for a long. Let's go back to the hourly. So we can watch for a pullback to yesterday's high, this area here, for a bounce, kind of trailing this 20 moving average up. That area will be around 2025 to 2030. And if we get down to yesterday's low, 2105, we'll watch for a bounce off of the 50 as well. And that's it really. Too strong for a short unless we get all the way up here. We'll be pretty extended by that point. Notice also the volume coming in over the last few days. Sometimes high volume can signal an end of trend. We've been trending up for the last couple of months. Oil, not doing much. Kind of tried to break out, came back in. So we're at the retest area now, right on the 20. So potentially there's a long, maybe a long swing trade. You can see this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and then the retest of that area. But coming right into this is the area to watch for a bounce. Let's go into the hourly, see if we can refine that. Yeah, I don't like the hourly chart much, kind of sideways. If we can break over pre-market high, we can watch for a long. I think that's the area, this area here, 78.50 to 79 for a long. Maybe a pullback into that area long. A target can be yesterday's high and then a few days ago's high. RTY, which is the Russell 2000. Did it get all-time high? No, it's still not. Oh, I don't know. It's close. Yeah, kind of matched all-time highs yesterday. French finally caught up, and then we saw the sell-off. We're below the 50 now. We haven't been below that for a few days as well, probably since middle of Feb, 22nd of Feb. So levels here. Are we looking at a head and shoulders pattern forming? We could wait for that, see what happens. Neckline could be this point of control, high volume. So that's kind of my bounce area as well. So a bounce at 20.55. About there, and that's tops and bottoms of candles, area of confluence. And then a break and retest of pre-market high if we can break over the 50 and with a target of yesterday's high, which is the all-time high. YM, which is the Dow Jones, this is the hourly again. We can see we've kind of come down, curving around, probably a head and shoulders pattern there. If we can join up the dots, that's kind of our neckline, and you can see we broke through the neckline, came back up, retested it, and we're selling off. If we get back up to the pre-market high level, maybe we're going to look for a short. If we break over it, look for continuation of the uptrend. Bit extra volume last few days as well. Probably a high risk 38,900 rejection. That kind of will be a high risk, that area there, for it to come back down. And that's it. Bitcoin, let's have a look, see what that's done. Couldn't quite get to all-time highs. What's that, 69,000 I think it is. I'm sure it is. But we got close. We're either going to break that level and probably hit all-time highs, which is up here, or we're putting in a higher low, or lower high I meant, and we can watch for the pull down. We've got high volume in this area as well. This will be showing us our first sign of a reversal for some time, if we do put it in, or it's just a pullback and it's just a bear flag. Volume, notice the volume, not very good volume here, but volume's increasing. RSI's at the max as well, so pretty much we could potentially be looking at a reversal. Let's go back into the daily, and then the all-time high is up at 69,000, not far off it. Perfect, that's a flag. Decent breakout there. Textbook, although quite extended, but it did come back to the 8 before it pushed up, so kind of textbook. Not sure why 58 is a bounce area, but we've got a bounce area down here at 53. 58 are tops of pivot, so probably around that area there. Just a rough idea. And then 58 are that's areas of confluence as well. So tops and bottoms of Bitcoin candles. So kind of watch for a bounce around that area as well. But do a bit of a pullback on Bitcoin as well. Okay, so going back to ES. Quickly see where we are. Kind of at that level I've been watching for a few days. Well, since Thursday's high there. I quite like the bottom of this area for a bounce, and in particular this area here for a bounce. So the bottom of that is 51.10, 51.09, or we're watching around 50.96, 5100 key area for a bounce. And again, if we lose 5100, we can watch for a break and retest low. Get above pre-market high, we can look for a bit of an uptrend to kind of retest the highs again from yesterday. That's it. Okay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to be notified of the levels tomorrow. And I should be back later. I have more time today to get back with a trade recap video as well, and I'll try and go through some order flow and volume analysis at the same time in these videos.